Hi, I'm Laura LeBon Smith. I'm one of the employment counselors who works for CultureLink. There are a number of things that you need to think about before you create your LinkedIn profile for Canada. If you already have a profile, don't worry, but do review the contents of this unit. Let's start by going to LinkedIn to see what you need to do to create a profile. So if we go into LinkedIn, you're on a registration page. Very simple. They're asking for your name, your email address, and a password. Easy. Before you enter your information, we should talk about your name and your email address. So think about your name. How common or unique is it? Are employers going to be able to find you? Ideally, your name should take them to your LinkedIn profile. Now in English, the last name Smith, which I happen to have in my last name, is extremely common. And the first name Mary is also a very common name for a woman. And if you go into LinkedIn, you're going to find there's over 7,000 LinkedIn profiles for Mary Smith. So you need to know, are you unique and easy to find, or are you a Mary Smith? If you're a Mary Smith, how are the employers going to find you? So start by doing the research. Look for your name in LinkedIn. Now, just as a tip, if you don't have a LinkedIn account yet, just go to the registration page. Right at the bottom of the registration page, it says find a colleague. Just type in your name, first name, last name. Boom, away you go. Find out how unique or how common you are. Now, if your name is common, like Mary Smith, we have to think, is there some way to make your name stand out from all the others? For example, are you a Mary Smith? Or are you a Mary Ellen Smith? Maybe you're a Mary E. Smith. Maybe you're even a Mary LeBon Smith. Now, to help you figure out how to make sure your name stands out in Canada, let's talk about some of the ways we treat names here in Canada. One of the things we do is we give people nicknames. Your parents may have given you a particular name, but may I always call you something else. Very commonly, a nickname is a shortened version of your given name. For men, Michael becomes Mike, Raj Gopal becomes Raj, Juan Carlos becomes Juan. The same thing happens to women's names. So Elizabeth will become Eliza or Liz or Beth. So if your first name is extremely common, maybe you want to drop it. If you're a Maria Laura Gomez, maybe you might want to just go by Laura Gomez. Or M, use your initial, M Laura Gomez. Muhammad Ali Assad, if there's a lot of you in LinkedIn, maybe you're M Ali Assad. Just another tip. If your name is Muhammad, watch out. The abbreviation MD in English can be mistaken for medical doctor. So don't give yourself a degree that you don't actually have. Now, some people use a middle name instead of their first name, and that's perfectly fine in Canada in our business culture. So somebody named Arthur Blair Dodds may go through his entire life calling himself Blair Dodds. You can do that too. Another tip for you, in some communities, people choose an English name for themselves. If you do decide to do this, please make sure that the name you choose is appropriate. I know one man from China who chose the name Don. Lovely name. He spelled it D-A-W-N, which is the sunrise. And that's a woman's name in English. Now he goes by Don, D-O-N, which is the nickname for Donald, which is a typical English name for a man. So just take care with your name. Same thing with your email address. Your LinkedIn connections can see your email address and your contact info. You can edit that, but usually what happens is we create our LinkedIn account, we put in the email address, and that's what other people will see. So please be professional. I have had clients with email addresses like I Love China at 126.com, which is a Chinese website. You also don't want to use something like stupidboy@gmail.com, or maybe a political slogan like Cuba Libre at yahoo.ca. So please be professional. The most commonly used email addresses start with your name, and we just talked about your name. You may need to add something to your name to distinguish it. So it's very common for Pei Wang to find that there's 40 or 50 other people with the same name on LinkedIn. So maybe your email address is peipei.wang1970 for the year you were born. Some people will go and add their profession to their name. So you might be Ronaldo Torres, accountant. Just another tip, or really in this case a warning for you. If you include a job title in your email address, please check out the part of our course that talks about the names of jobs in Canada. Sometimes the names change from one country to another. You don't want to use the wrong email address and name a job that you're not actually interested in or actually doing. The other thing you want to do with your email address, make sure that the domain name, that's the part after the @ symbol, make sure it could be a Canadian domain name. So something like @gmail.com is fine. @yahoo.ca, the .ca is for Canada. But if you're using @cyril.ru, that tells me you're in Russia, or your email address is in Russia. And I'm wondering, why are you looking for work in Canada? If your domain name is @india.com, same problem. You're in India. Why would I hire you? You're not in Canada. So we've talked about your name, your email address. You're ready to go. One last thing we should talk about, though. You probably already know, in Canada we have 2 official languages, English and French. So this means your LinkedIn profile should be in English or French if you want a job in Canada. If your email profile that you initially created is for China, the writing will be in Chinese characters. I can't read it. So please be aware that LinkedIn has already taken care of this problem for you. If you go and work your way through creating a profile in LinkedIn, you're going to find that LinkedIn will let you create a profile for each of the languages that you do business in. They actually support 19 different languages. So you're going to create a LinkedIn profile for English, or a LinkedIn profile for French. And if you're bilingual, you're going to make both.